So in this video, I just want to go over what I'm expecting for step 4, identify criteria and constraints. So at this point, you've already defined the problem. You're making a package for whatever product you selected. You wrote up what you're doing there. You've come up with your 4 brainstorming ideas. You've done your research. So you spent a few days. You took apart a package. You did at least 5 notes. I did a lot more on this one. And then you found 2 packages online, and you have a minimum of 3 notes about that package. So you've gone through step 3 to this point. Now you're into step 4, which is identify criteria and constraints. One of the things I need you to look back at is the actual packaging design brief. So this has constraints on it, like that it should display and protect the product, should use materials responsibly, talks about glue edges, needs to have this product window, needs to have flaps, and tabs for alignment. All those sorts of things are things you're basically restating when you get over here to identify criteria and constraints. So first thing, and you can do this in a bulleted list like this is fine. If it takes 2 slides, whatever. If you want to put like identify what it should do on one slide and the constraints on a second slide, that's fine. You can just make the font smaller. It's just me looking at it. You're not projecting this on screen. So, if you need to take this down and, make this, 10-point font or something like that so it all fits on there, that's perfectly fine. So display, this little clip here, the one I got off the web for one of my research ones, it doesn't display the product. There's no product window in there, but you're going to explain, that you're displaying the product on a shelf. It should have that product window in it. Some of the ones we looked at had this little hook to hang it up there. Yours might, it might not. It might just sit on the shelf. But explain how it's going to display the product. And then explain how it's going to protect it. Is it just a robust box that you're creating? Do you have some kind of little interior padding or some kind of little spacer so the part doesn't move around inside of that? That would be up to you, and also up to how fragile the product is. If you're packaging some kind of electronic device, you probably want a little bit of padding in there. So maybe like a little bit of styrofoam or a little piece of cardboard that spaces that out. But explain how your package is going to do that. And this is all specific to your product. So think about that as you're writing this stuff, not just in general what a package should do, but for whatever product you selected, how will it display and protect that product. Now, as far as constraints, again, you should be looking over here at design constraints off the package design brief and then kind of restating those that make sense for your product and for your situation. So budget, you shouldn't be spending any money on this. I would like you to use materials that you already have at your house or reuse materials. So you shouldn't be out buying cardboard and things like that. Use a cereal box or some other package that you can cut up. That's part of the reason we try to keep these products small, is so that you could reuse the face of a cereal box and be fine with enough material. Just try to keep all the original graphics on the inside of your package when you go to do that. As far as conservation of resources, we want to try to look at what's the most efficient way to create something. So as you look at creating some different possibilities here in step 5, one of the things you're going to be rating them on is how much material they use. So you'll be looking at over the process, but it's something you want to consider because, of course, if we were doing this in the real world, the less material that we're going to use, the easier the manufacturing of the product is, the less money it's going to cost the company. So it's something to consider for any package. Now, as far as your timeline, we have the next 4 or 5 weeks here as we get to the end of the year here to complete the entire process. Materials available to you. So you have to look around your house and see what you have. Maybe all you have is cardstock. Maybe you have a piece of poster board sitting around from an old project. Maybe it's going to be a cereal box that you open up. So start to look for that kind of stuff. Before stuff goes out in recycling, try to grab a couple of these. And, if you have more than one, that'd be great in case you mess up as you're going through. Now, resources is a little bit different. Like looking at this picture here, what do you have to work with? Do you have a pair of scissors? Do you have graph paper? Do you have a ruler or a straight edge? Do you have an X-Acto knife to cut some things on? Make sure you're not cutting stuff on mom and dad's kitchen table. Work on a scrap piece of wood or something like that, or out in the garage maybe to make some of these cuts, or just use scissors, whatever that is. Some of you, you might have a laptop that you could download AutoCAD on. If you want to draw this in AutoCAD, go for it. That's totally up to you, but all you're required to do is sketch this on graph paper, and then we'll transfer it over. But some of you might have some other resources available. Maybe a parent is a resource, all right? It could be me, you're talking to me. Whatever you want to list as your resources that are available. And last thing would be any tools, or any tools that maybe you wish you might had, so maybe you wish you had an X-Acto knife, you're going to be stuck with scissors, or you don't have a decent place to work. Whatever that is, you wish you had the laser cutter, which would be awesome for this project. But I'm hoping this, you're going to have 3 days to work on this. This should really only take you like 20 to 30 minutes tops as you go down through here. But again, make sure this is tailored to your product, not just package design, but your product, how it's going to be displayed, protected, and the constraints kind of rewritten in your own words based upon your situation, what you have available at home, what your resources are, so we can move forward with that. So again, make sure this is uploaded in the exact same PowerPoint. You see how I'm doing that. We want to make sure all these things are documented as we get towards the end, and then upload this to Schoology when you're finished. If you got any questions, make sure you contact me. Shoot me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hope you're having a good day.